Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another review. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate the support. And in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Marc Jacobs, and this one is called Decadence, so stay tuned. Now, Marc Jacobs' Decadence was released in 2015, and this was a composition done by perfumers Annie Buzantian and Anne Gottlieb, both of which have a very vast repertoire of scents that they have created under their metaphorical belts. And of course, this one was so good, in fact, that it spawned the creation of a flanker called Divine Decadence. Now, I'm excited to talk to you guys a little bit about how this fragrance smells, but let's start the review off by taking a closer look at the presentation. So here's the presentation for Decadence. Really nice felt material on the box here. On the bottom is where you'll find your serial number, so you know to avoid counterfeits. I don't see this one being counterfeited though. I'm sure eventually it will, but it would be very difficult to counterfeit it. Really nice, again, pattern. You have the information and the ingredients on the back here. Nothing going on at the top. There is a separate box on the inside that carries just the cap. Now, this is a very heavy fragrance, and you don't want to lift it up from the cap because it will come apart. You don't want that happening. Of course, it looks like a clutch purse, and I think it's a gorgeous presentation. Some might say it's kitschy, but I think the attention to detail on everything is just superb. You have this sort of gator or snakeskin feel up here. You have the name of the fragrance. I love the color palette on this one, green and gold, and the atomizer works really well. Some might say it's a bit narrow, but spray from a distance and it will get the job done. And that was the presentation for Marc Jacobs' Decadence. Now, when you first spray this fragrance on, you are going to get a lot of plum. And I'm very happy about that because plum is one of my favorite notes of all time. And plum is a note that you rarely come across in fragrances, but when it is used in fragrances, it's often done right. There's one fragrance that I came across recently called Blyss by Perfumology. So if you're looking for something that smells similar to this, but a bit more natural, dare I say, although I think they're both excellent fragrances in their own right, I would highly recommend you check out that scent. I'm going to leave the information down below. But as far as this scent is concerned, I love the note of plum. And I'm thinking of scents like Andy Warhol by Bond No. 9, which is sadly now discontinued. I'm also thinking of Frank No. 2 by Frank Los Angeles. That one has more of a fougere feel because it has the note of lavender in there. And because of that, it is rather masculine. This one, on the other hand, has some floral nuances in there. It has Bulgarian rose. I don't get too much rose from this one. I get more spices. I know saffron is listed as a note. I know vetiver is also used in this fragrance as well. And I think it serves to clean up the composition a little bit. And then I'm also getting some other ambery nuances in the base. And amber is a fantasy note in perfumes. So it's actually a combination of vanilla and other resins. And this does come off as a rather sweet scent to me. I do get vanilla, and maybe the sweetness is coming from the vanilla, not actually from the plum, but it is a very juicy plum. It's sensual, but sophisticated at the same time. That's exactly what Marc Jacobs was going for with this fragrance. I also had the opportunity to try Divine Decadence, and I like that fragrance a lot too. I don't know which one I like more though. The original always seems to do it better in most cases, but nonetheless, I think this is a great scent. It's all about the plum and the amber and the vanilla. The vetiver isn't too noticeable. The saffron is in there, but it's not overwhelming. It's not overly spicy to the extent that it makes it smell culinary by any means. And then you have some woodsy nuances in the base and some mild florals in there too. I know I mentioned rose. There's also a listed note of iris. I don't get too strong of an iris note. If it's in there, it probably contributes to the creamy smell that I get from this fragrance. Overall, it's a sexy scent. It's seductive. It's alluring. It's entrancing. This is the scent that really will make people stop dead in their tracks if you're wearing it. It's great for a clubbing scenario, a night out on the town, if you're dressed up, if you want to look your best but smell your best too. Let's go ahead and finish things off by taking a look at my rating. First up, I took a look at the uniqueness in the overall smell, and this is a very unique fragrance. I've never smelled plum done this way in a designer scent before, so this was a breath of fresh air, and the overall smell is so incredibly pleasant, sexual, sensual, and alluring. As far as longevity, you're going to get 8+ hours, so excellent. It can come across rather strong, so make sure you spray conservatively. Projection is really good for 3 to 3.5 hours. It doesn't become a skin set until, I would say, maybe the 7th 7-hour mark. And then versatility on this one is compromised a little bit because the composition is so strong. So I would say don't wear this one in the hotter weather. You might choke somebody out. Wear this one on colder nights and colder days, so fall and winter. I think this is a dressed up kind of a scent. And last up, I took a look at the presentation, and I think the presentation is pretty unique. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's kitschy. I wouldn't say it's chic either. If I'm gonna give this fragrance an overall score, I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars on the smell alone. This is an amazing scent. I think it has everything. It's sensual, it's seductive, the smell is great, the presentation is memorable, it does things differently, it's unique, it's one of a kind, it's incredibly pleasant, it has mass appeal, and it is the type of scent that would yield a lot of compliments. So there you have it. That was my review on Decadence by Marc Jacobs. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to subscribe for future videos, and remember to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. So remember, I smell well so you can smell good, and we'll see you all in the next video. Take care.